Guys, so we can see. Let me take this down real fast. I apologize, guys. As we see, today is Wednesday. And we back at it again. In case y'all didn't see the thumbnail, what we're going to go over. Debriefing. Hump Day Shenanigans. Shout out to JR for having that show on Wednesday. And what I've been doing here lately is been doing the show, pretty much debriefing, I can't say it, debriefing what we talked about last Wednesday. So, of course, as y'all know, last Tuesday was the election. And the Wednesday show, we had the first Wednesday show after the election. Now, I'm pretty much burnt out on talking about the election shit, right? I was done way before the election. I was done probably sometime in late September, early October. I already decided on what candidate I was going to vote for. So I was already locked in. But, you know, if you get on the shows, you got to talk about whatever's the subject's talked about. So it is what it is. But I'm kind of burnt out. So we get on that Wednesday, we kind of talk about it first. But I'm not going to start there, right? Because if we look at the title of the show, it was about equality or selective benefits. So I'm going to kind of start right there in that video and what we was kind of having a discussion about. It was very interesting in hearing some of the ladies' point of view and some of the fellas' point of view as well. But with that being said, I definitely want to make sure I talk about it, right? I definitely want to make sure I talk about it and have fun with it and have the discussion and all that good stuff. But I ain't got no further. Let's go to the beautiful bean footage. And let's see. Let me show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So right here, this is the video that we kind of talked about prior to getting into the discussion. So that's where we're going to start it, guys. Let's go.
Dismantle this thought that it's too late.
Yes.
Because I think that I'm a millennial, and like millennial women were really set up for the okie doke because they told us from when we were little, don't depend on anybody. Make sure you get your own. Always be independent. Go to college. Get an education. Don't have a bit. Don't put a man before your. Like we were hammered. The messaging was go to college, have something that you can stand on, and then think about a man and a baby. And a lot of us did that, and what that did was it made us older, entering motherhood. We started thinking about making a family later. And then I feel like we just got shamed on the back end. And we were like, wait a minute. But I thought this is what we were supposed to do. That's so true.
Get into it. Focus on your career. Be independent. And don't rush. Don't rush. You got time.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this first. What that woman shared wasn't a lie. I've heard that before. My daughter's mother, her father was like that. You know what I'm saying? Her father was pressing that same issue. I remember her father talking to her sister and sharing that information with her. So, and she said, yeah, he shared the same thing. So that's not a surprise that she's saying that and preaching that and sharing it, because I've seen that happen on a couple occasions. You know, that wasn't something I pushed for my daughter and she was growing up to act like it, to move like it. And the reason why, because my daughter seen what it was like to be in a marriage. Her mother's married. I was married at the time. And so she was familiar with what it looks like to have a family and a family union. But with that being said, yeah, when y'all say stuff and share stuff like that with your daughter, that's what you're doing a disservice to them. When you say that to your daughters and preach that message to them, you are really hurting them and doing a disservice to them when you do that. And the reason why I say that is because they're gonna think like that, and they're not gonna see the value in a man. Now, Hopefully you can show them other things as a father, as a man, as a role model, the importance of having a man, being a husband, you know what I'm saying, and raising your kids with your husband and not just being a baby mama. Hopefully you showing that. You set the example for your daughter to see, to realize, hey, I want to have a good, upstanding man who's going to take care of me and provide for me and look out for the family and the kids. You know what I'm saying? Not saying they're gonna make him do it all on his own, but I'm gonna be some type of co-pilot for him in order to help him, you know what I'm saying, and uplift him in every way possible. And the best way to do it is to make sure that you teach your daughter to do that. Make sure you do that for your daughter. Because if you don't, you're doing your child a disservice, and shame on you. Right on. Let's get back to this video. Let's go.
Let's go ahead and open it up for discussion. Let me get a lady to start off first. One of the ladies want to go first.
I'll go first. I think it's true. It's extremely true. That's always what we were taught. Go to college, get your education, focus on your career, make sure you can take care of yourself. You got to be independent. You got to live this life, and then you get older and you realize, like, well, dang, maybe you should have been. Then people tell you why you ain't got a husband. Should have already had a baby by now. You already passed the prime in your life to, find somebody. Or now your value market done went down. Like, it's extremely true what she's saying. For a lot of millennial women, that's how we were raised. You have to take care of yourself. And I think it's because in our society, we were raised by a lot of single mothers who had to learn to take care of themselves. So they wanted to prepare us early for that reality because that was their reality, instead of actually preparing us for what they would have wanted or what would have made our life easier, right? So, I think it was just more of a defense mechanism to make sure that we were going to survive regardless of what happened to us throughout life. But I think it was true.
All right. Ms. Kelly, you want to say something?
I was definitely raised by strong women. I was definitely told to, be able to provide for myself, take care of myself, don't count on anybody else, yada, yada, yada. A lot of women in my family were married, had businesses, had families too. I personally don't have any children currently, but a lot of the reason why I think I don't is because as I grew up, that's all I heard, in high school. You better not bring no babies home. And so, everything I heard kind of terrified me. So by the time I became an actual adult, my mom would say, well, when are you going to have babies? And I'm like, well, I thought I wasn't supposed to, but it's the truth. I think some parents raise their daughters like that. And I think some parents raise their daughters different. I think it depends on, your household. Because I do have friends that, graduated high school, got married, and had a family. So I think everything is different. It just depends on your upbringing. So that's a fact. The statement that she made is a fact for some.
All right. I did hear something that was said. If women are being taught that, then why are the men shaming them if they are quote unquote doing it correctly, Jim?
Maybe because they're being taught that by other women. And it's independent women, not.
It's really more women who are leading that conversation than men are. You know what I'm saying? That everything that they had talked about and just shared, even the woman in the video, they talked that from the perspective of receiving that message from a woman. It wasn't a man. You know what I'm saying? I even question where is the father even in that equation. But based on that video and, based on a little bit on the share that everybody presented, you could really tell the people who were raised on survival and the people who were raised on love. there's a huge difference between people who were raised on survival and the people who were raised on love. And I say that because I reflect back on my upbringing, and I reflect on a lot of the things that I've heard. And although it is the same, a lot of it's the same, right? Even from, the women in my side of the family, the girls, it was the same, but I think it was less about fear mongering, and I think it was more about like responsibilities. One thing that was always talked about was like responsibilities. It was always talked about, understanding, once you cross that, make an adult decision, you are an adult, right? And sort of, you need to protect yourself. You need to safeguard yourself. You need to understand these things that happen. You need to talk to us, communicate with us. That was one thing that was very big. It was communication. You know what I'm saying? Being transparent. There wasn't this like, imaginary kind of.
Let me say this before I continue on. One of the, I think it was Louise who shared that most women are the one pressing that issue, and that's true. That's true. I have some cousins who move like that, and like you said, I think they share that with them because they was upset about their relationship situation, their status, their status quo, and they didn't like where their status quo. So they said, "Girl, don't don't be like me and mess around, have all these kids, and no man involved. Yeah, just focus on what you need to do and get out here and just have fun, enjoy yourself, live your best life." Yeah, I think more women preach that. I mean, you hear it in the songs, in the music. You see it on the TV shows. You see it in movies. You see it in entertainment. You see it in their everyday life. They see the fun aunt doing the same thing, living the best life, no kids, just out here traveling, doing everything, while she's looking at her mother being a stay-at-home mom, doing that. And it doesn't look appealing to her, right? It doesn't look fun to her. She can't imagine doing something like that, being like that, living that lifestyle. It seems boring, non-adventurous. That's just not what they want to do. So they looking at the fun aunt having all the good time, but what they don't see is fun aunt's probably getting ran through, huh? Dudes coming in and out all the time on that fun, or she's crying at night, wishing she had that to somebody home, something steady come home to. That man that there was just a booty call for him from the get up. Now she's ready to have a full blown relationship, and this man he still just want to knock you down. You know what I'm saying? He's not looking for something serious because it wasn't the expectations you put out there. What you put out there was just a fun time, but not for a long time. So now you starting to catch feelings, and this dude ain't ready to settle down with your stanky ass because he want to continue to have fun with you. And now you feeling some type of way because now you looking at your sister who settled down, got the family, raising the kids. Now she wants that same thing. But now she can't find a man to even do that for her. Why? You wasted most of your time out here jumping, hopping in the club, spot, bar to bar, going on girl trips, enjoying your life, right? Pursuing your career and everything else. Now that, that virtual wall, you hit, now you want something different. You might not be lucky enough or blessed enough to get that. So then what you going to do? Settle for a pookie for the meantime, between time, and guess what? You be complaining about him every other day, mad as hell, talking about he don't do shit, sit on the couch all goddamn day, play that damn Xbox or PlayStation. You getting sick of his ass, eating up all the snacks in the house. Now he done dropped the baby in you, but he ain't put no ring on your finger. Why? Because that's not what you expect. You want to wait 5-10 years down the road. When we gonna get married? What, dog? He ain't trying to marry you now. He gonna continue to play house with your stanky ass. Because that's all the expectations you had for him. One of your requirements was to marry before you carry? No, it wasn't what you wanted. You just want some steady dick in the house. And he giving it to you. He giving it to you. but he ain't getting nothing else. He's not trying to be a permanent fixture. He's temporary. Let's keep going.
Fictitious kind of story. It was always like the cold hard truth. And sometimes you need that. Excuse me. Sometimes you need to have the uncomfortable truth. And I think that right there just wakens a lot of people. But unfortunately, the response to the woman in the video, you know, that's really a sad feat, because I think that the cultural teaching needs to kind of be adjusted, because unfortunately a lot of people outside of our demographic are not taught that, or are not told that. They're told, protect yourself, a child by anybody, right? Do not prioritize just being a single mother, but focus on yourself, focus on your education, and then find somebody who you align with based on the values that we've instilled in you, you know, family, religion, culture, etc., right? And marry that person. Establish a family with that person, right? It wasn't like separate yourself and then get to a certain point where you think you're great and then find somebody. I think it was more about, you know, ensuring you protect yourself, and then here's certain responsibilities to make sure that you don't ruin your life.
I
agree. I think that it is cultural, because when I was in college, I had never heard of an MRS degree. They kept saying, she's here to get an MRS degree. And I'm like, what does that mean? And I went to Baylor and Waco, so it's predominantly, white. And they were like, just to find a husband. Like, they literally went to college to find their husband. We are going to college to get a degree, we on scholarships, getting financial aid, we don't, they literally, I know a few girls who like went to college, found their husbands like in college, and that's why they went to college. And I was just there to get my grades. So I just think that I never even thought that in my mind, but their moms sent them to college to get MRS degrees, so to become somebody's wife. And, they get married.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I think right there just shows the cultural differences between us, white folks and then us, because they look at for it as early as possible. We didn't have that preaching that in our neighborhoods, in our households. It wasn't a thing. Go to college, get your education, have fun, be safe, don't mess around, get nobody pregnant. That's the speech I got. And I'm sure the lady was, don't get pregnant, huh? Not going there looking for a wife. I definitely wasn't looking for that. That wasn't my agenda. And I'm sure for the ladies, their agenda wasn't finding a husband. Thinking back, maybe it should have been. Because that's where you had the most options. You understand what I'm saying? That's where you had the most prospects when you was on the yard. But maybe you just didn't recognize the ones you probably should have been chasing. You was chasing them bad boys and the athletes. All them dudes that wasn't even going to school. You was chasing everything but the right thing, ladies. Fellas, we just trying to get one off. That's it. 20 goddamn minutes. Y'all know how we do. We wasn't in there trying to look for a wife. We was trying to score one, huh? Look at this shit. Look at this shit. What the hell? Hink found his wife in college, but didn't know she would be his wife. Okay, there you are. There you are. This is true. This is a fact. Let's keep going.
Different with different cultures, I believe. And I think, parents just teach you what they know. They just teach you, they do their best. I think my parents did a fairly good job with me, but every parent is different. And I think the people that pressure some of the women, you know, why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? Those are just people who grew up in certain type of households, and that's what they saw. They saw, you know, their parents be married and have kids or whatever. So that's the cycle that they know. So they put that on every woman that they know because they don't know anything different.
Go ahead, Alan.
I mean, that's why they say 35 in rural America is not 35 in a city. Those are totally different 35s and lifestyles, right? But no, I do agree with the overall sentiment. I've always firmly believed that it feels like, as a millennial woman, that you have to choose between your career and being a mother. I don't know. I just have always felt that way, because anyone who does want to try to like climb the corporate ladder, they're gonna have to take time off, and then they're gonna suffer, and then they're not gonna get the promotion, and da 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 da. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. Just the fact that I do feel like you have to choose which one you want to go with. So, and going back to everybody's, yeah, it depends on what your household was like. If your parents care for you to have kids early, all that stuff. So,
Ali, I want to, because they like adult like conversation.
Stating they're only doing what they know to, right? So,
like, these conversations need to happen at an early age, right?
These conversations will come from the parents.
Exactly.
Right. So that wouldn't really be something that we could control if your parents' focus was on one thing. Like Kelly was stating, they're only doing what they know to do. So a lot of parents, for one, are not going to have a lot of those adult conversations with their kids, as far as like, even if you do try to have that conversation of what you want to do when you get older, how you should live your life, things in that nature. Kids change all the time. Your mind is going to change, and you also don't want to control and try to dictate what your child is going to do. So all you do as a parent is try to implement little by little the fundamentals, morals, and ethics and things you think are important to your child, and you hope that they blossom from there. So those conversations are beautiful and all, and that's what you can have with your children. But for the people who are already grown and already done it, those conversations didn't happen like that, and you had to learn along the way as you got older. I was going to say, picking back off of what Ali was stating, I think that goes back to the conversation of why women and men make different incomes and why men can make.
So before she gets into that, let me say this real fast. Usually I agree with Taj. Taj's been on there, I guess, about 3 times that I know of when I was on her. And then normally I agree with her. But not on this one, Taj. You can't get that agreement from Hink on this one. Because the reason why, I don't, look, I had no problem with dictating, pushing my son toward the direction that I think he should go in and I want him to go in. I had no problem with that at all. Now, probably say, oh, you're trying to control. Well, call it what you want to. What I'm trying to do is get the best version of my son, of little Hank, as I possibly can. And if that means I got to force him along, push him along, threaten him at times, that's what I'm going to do. Because at the end of the day, he not only represents himself, but he represents me and our last name. And he already knows, and we talked about this. You're not just going to college just to play basketball. You're going over to get that paperwork. Go over and get your bread. That bread, that money, and that money is that degree. There's no need to go on for 3 to 4 years and come out with your paperwork. You just wasted time. Now, you got the experience, but other than that, you wasted your time. So let's go out there and get that paperwork. You know what I'm saying? Get something we could benefit. You could benefit on it later. Yeah, that's your whole most important thing you're going over for. Not to just hang out in the dorm room. Not to run up down the court. Even though it's fun, all those things are great things. But the most important thing is come out with that paperwork. Get your degree. So me, your mother, the wife, and your siblings can come to you, celebrate you, and uplift you for taking care of your business. That's your purpose. So yeah, I push my son towards certain things. Just like I push them towards certain things as far as sports and academics, school. Well, high school, I let him choose for himself. He made the right decision. But as far as college, he chose her. We put the options in front of him. This is what the money's going to be at. The scholarships are going to be at. This is what's going. They're going to take care of. Full ride, half ride, partial ride, walk on. No, we're not doing that. So we're going to places where you're going to not only get free schooling, but you're going to get school paid for. But we're going to go where you're going to get opportunities to not only play, not just practice with them all goddamn day, but to play. And we had that conversation. Me, him, and his mother, and of course his coach. But you have to push your child in certain directions if you want to. If you leave it up to their own demise, they're gonna do some screwed up, crazy stuff. They're gonna be out here looking like crazy, dressing like crazy, maybe into some crazy stuff. No, hell no. I said on the show, see, some of these kids got too many options, and you got to cut them options off. Make them like they don't even exist, and encourage them, push them, and force them to go certain directions. And at the end of the day, they're going to have to eventually make their own choice, and I understand that. But until they mature enough and can handle those certain decisions, you make sure you're involved as much as you can. It's not about being a helicopter parent. It's not about being a controlling parent, but you're a concerned parent. That's it. Let's keep going, though.
Or because women do have children. So we have to actually take off of work, right? We tend to want to focus on our kids and raising our families.
Which campaign is getting pushed to the person who's going to work on it.
Who's going to work.
Get the recognition.
Men work more than women, period. They're just going to always work more than us because once you have that child, things change for you. And if you work in corporate America, it's a different hustle. The women that are at the top don't have kids. If they're married, they hardly see their husbands or they get married later.
Or if they do have kids, they made it to executive leadership before the age of 40. They got the money to help. Yeah.
Have the kids later. Yeah. You know, it's just not something that's as attainable. So I totally agree with you. You have to choose as a woman. What do you want to do?
I think that's true to a certain extent, only because I married my high school sweetheart, y'all. We were together for 17 years, and I had the white picket fence, like everything, right? But when I was married and a wife, I did not work. You know what I mean? It was just me, the kid, Once I divorced, I'm like, yay, I get to do corporate America. I get to actually use these degrees, you know? And it's fucking hard.
It's extremely hard.
And because you kind of do have to take a step back when you have a child. Like I do remote work. I would make a lot more money if I was working for a company and I actually went in the office, right? Being my title, because I'm like, I'd rather do this working from home because it's a whole different ballgame, especially when you've been working corporate for as long as a lot of us, you know.
Also, let me say this. The lady was being honest. She said it's effing hard. Most ladies don't want to work hard like that. They are not built for that. That's why you're not going to see them on the construction sites of plumbers or electricians or HVAC or even in the construction field. They're not willing. Most of them ladies don't want to do their hard work. Getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Getting your kids ready, drag yourself out there to the workplace or the work site or whatever the case may be. Most of them not built for that shit. They not doing that 5 to 6, maybe sometimes 7 days a week. Could you imagine that? They not built for that. Any minute, because they in their feelings, they'll quit. Or they just ready to stop working or ready to give it up. Because they not happy or they not pleased or they not fulfilled. Could you imagine that? But that's an option some women have. But we're going to get further into it as the video goes on. I just wanted to talk about that statement she just made.
We've played the game. We've dealt with male chauvinistic men. You know, it's not easy to do both. But I kind of had, that's what you were saying, is I had it in the beginning, like, oh, so I was a wife and did that. And now it's like corporate America, you know, it's hard. I would not say that it isn't hard. You know, it's great to have family because it takes a village. But I was raised on love, and I'm a Southern girl, so yeah, I did all of that white picket fence the way it's supposed to go. So now being in corporate America is a different ballgame. Like my mom didn't have to work either, but I feel like I would teach my daughter to be independent because you never know what would happen. I feel like I would probably be not even like my mom. You know what I mean? Because it's hard. You can do everything right and it still go wrong. And so for me, it is survival at this point. And so I want my daughter to have the keys she needs to survive. I feel like she's going to naturally know how to be domestic because I'm domestic. But the keys to survival have to be there. And men have to understand that, and they can't be intimidated by the independence.
I also think it's the way that you deliver that information, because for me and my daughter, I always tell her to make sure she's doing something and she is getting in her career field so she can date people with the same mind frame as hers, the same people.
So let me say this. I don't think most men are afraid of you being independent like that. But I think most men don't want you to prefer you to be interdependent, not independent. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, of course, if something was to happen, we want you to be able to take care of the situation, take care of the family, do what you got to do. You know, I don't think no man wants that to be something was to happen to him, all of a sudden the family goes down. No, nobody wants that. But at the same time, it's a certain mentality that some ladies have when they get in certain positions or they make a certain amount of money. And that type of mentality, no man wants to really be around. Now, if you get those simp dude, sucker dude, you could just, be the puppet master with. You could just pull on like you Geppetto and he's Pinocchio. You got one of them dudes, they okay with that. Was that house husband 2024? They probably okay with that bullshit. But a man who's about his business and a stand upright type man, he ain't want to go for that shit. He don't want to deal with that shit. Take your ass on down the road somewhere. That's what he's gonna tell you. Or if he's with you, he ain't with you for 20 minutes. He can ready to send you back to the streets. Because he ain't trying to settle down with you because your mindset is off. Not where he's looking for. But I'm just saying, let's keep going.
The same interests as her. I know that she don't like a lot of stuff that goes on in the environment I'm currently living in. So I always tell her, you don't like the people here, you feel like they're mean, you feel like they're bullying, you feel like you don't like the music, she feel like it's too vulgar. She notices these things at 11. So I encourage her all the time, okay, you might want to be in more of like a college-like setting. So you have to focus on school. But then another thing down here, a lot of my friends who did get married at like 17, 18, they got married to older men because they were able to take care of them. But a lot of I honestly don't know any of the women who got married to the older men at that young age. I don't know if any of them are still together. And when you're looking at their situation, they kind of struggling because they didn't figure out how to survive for themselves and really make money. They was really just dependent on his income. So yeah, because the world is more modern, my thing would be to just tell her like, yeah, I still want you to be independent, but just make sure you're in environments where you're attracting people who are like you.
I have a question for Lewis. You mentioned, because I missed some of this, I had a bad connection, but you said women can have it all. What do you define as all?
In region.
Let me skip some of this because I don't
advertise and what the future
really irrelevant.
So going off of Alice's point, it's just like with our parents, a lot of them would get one job and stay at that job for 20, 30 years. And then but they would always be unhappy. They can get laid off at any time. So when we start coming up, we like forget this job. If I don't like it, I'll go to another job, you know, and they would complain like, you jump from.
Guys, I want y'all to pay attention on some of these ladies' mindset and how they look at careers and doing jobs and all of that stuff, compared to how some of the fellas are thinking and moving and operating. Just pay attention.
Job to job. I feel like it just gets closer and closer to the generation figuring out what is happiness and what's going to make me feel content in life. You know, I'm not going to work until I die like my parents did. And they don't want, like us, to still just be unhappy. They want to do something that's going to make them happy. So I agree with you, Alex. The idea of what is everything is changing constantly. Even the thought of going to college is now just for the experience. The education, if we're being honest, if you really wanted to, you could educate yourself without going to college. You don't have to pay $80,000, $100,000 to a school to get an education. We can get real life skills, you know, off of Google, off of YouTube. TikTok is going crazy. So these children are not going to go the same route that we went. So what we feel like is a priority and like the best thing or what's going to set them up for the best success, they're finding it in different ways. It's kids right now that are millionaires.
I'm kind of proud of them. When I see a new idea from here, I'm like, oh, okay. Like I respect it. I like it. It's innovative.
Just find someone to help you manage your money.
Hey, I miss some of it, but I got a quick question.
Let all the ladies talk. Let them get this shit up off their chest. They got some shit to get up off their goddamn chest. Let them go. One of y'all next.
I mean, the only thing I'll add, going back to the video we watched, I think that the message depends on your household, because for me personally, I came from a household where the woman did have it all. She was a business owner. She grew the corporate ring. She had me in the office with her at a young age, so I could see her in that capacity, as well as at home cleaning up, cooking. So I think it really, just going back to the video, I think it does depend on your house.
And the reason why I wanted the ladies to get it all out so they can talk. And so when the fellas do get the opportunity to talk, that they're hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully they wouldn't be interrupt, but you just got to know what you're dealing with sometimes. And sometimes they can't help it because they're triggered by the words we say. But let's keep going.
And I think moving forward, I agree with what Ali said 100%, that we don't necessarily want to push our normal on this next generation, but we want to, I think it's important for people to do whatever they need to do to become whole in general. Like, I'm an advocate of become whole, whatever that is. Don't focus on just being a mom. Don't focus on just being a career woman. Do whatever you need to do to be whole so you can show up to whatever it is that you're showing up to 100%. I'm a mom of 3. I hold a very demanding position. I'm a business owner as well. And I feel like, you know, I'm happy. I'm content with that. I don't wish I didn't have children and I was just climbing the corporate ladder, and I don't wish, you know, anything else. It's very challenging doing it all, but that makes me happy. Being a mom, having a successful career, and being a business owner makes me happy. So that's the only thing.
All right, then ladies go.
You ain't got nothing to say, guys. You know, you usually long-winded. I'm glad you went legs.
I just feel, I agree with what they said. I just think that back in the day, a lot of women, when it was delivered to me from my mom and from my grandmother, and my grandmother was married, and he took care of the house. She was able to have her career. So just going back to that, when they was telling it to me, it was more so in a sense like, so your opinion can matter. So you're not being controlled. So you can have some form of independence. So you can know how to take care of yourself. So you don't feel like once you're in a situation, if you do pick the wrong guy to lead you, you're not stuck in that situation because you can't take care of yourself. So I think it was more coming from a fearful mindset. And that's why I make the statement when I deliver it to my daughter, it's not going to be do this so you can be independent, but do this so you can know who you are and you can surround yourself with people who think like you and who has the same mindset as you. Because as long as you're doing that, you're bound to find somebody to fall in love with. If you're in the career field, you're set and you're hanging with people and you're surrounded, like I said. So that's just my opinion and take on it.
Can I ask the ladies a question? What is happiness to you?
Good question, Gerald. Good question. Great question. Let me say that. Let me not sell it short. That's a great question. Let's listen to it, guys. Let's see what they got to say.
Accomplishing things. Sometimes.
Who's going first?
Yeah. Hey, Gerald, I think it depends on the day of the week for most of them. Depends on the day of the week.
I'll go.
Personally, I feel like being healthy is happiness for me. Being stable and just being fulfilled in my career. Having good friends and a good support system. That makes me happy.
I agree with Kelly. Health is wealth, 100% for me. So I feel like as long as I'm constantly working on me, my growth, spending time with my child, I'm able to laugh, I'm happy, to be honest. I choose happiness every day. Like King said, it depends on the day. But for me, I choose it because happiness is a choice every day.
Yeah. You know, just being able to have that freedom and independence to be who you are without somebody controlling the run of your day. That makes me happy.
Peace of mind, exactly. Peace of mind is my happiness. And that comes from me not being emotionally dependent on anyone or anything else.
Mm-hmm. Mental stability.
Aisha, Ali, Dan?
For me, happiness is having my personal and professional relationships at the trajectory that I want them to be. You know, as long as they're at where I want them to be, I'm happy. So.
I mean, happiness to me is love. Like, I'm a lover of love, and so I feel the most happy when I'm like loving on people. I don't really thrive off of physical things, jobs, things that, you know, because I always think about how I want to be remembered when I leave here and the things that aren't going to go. So my happiness does depend on my feelings and my mood, and my happiness depends on love. So that's what makes me happy. It makes me happy to do things for my friends, my family. It makes me happy to show up. And like Kelly, to be your authentic self, to be able to be you all the time, that makes me happy. So
I'm happy that somebody said they love. I rarely hear that nowadays. It's such a fleeting missing component. You need it. Everybody needs it.
Go ahead, Dan.
Sounds like everybody has it.
I feel like happiness to me, I'm still kind of figuring it out at 33. But I agree with Ali and Ty. I feel like what really makes me happy is my relationships with the people in my life, professional and personal. When those are off, I'm off. I was just crying with one of my coworkers while we was handling a dispute. I'm very emotional. But that makes me happy and accomplishing things. So I read this book called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And it was really a good book, and it brought perspective that a lot of people solving problems make people happy. And I am a problem solver. I love helping people, whether it's with their emotions, with their business, with just helping. I'm a helper. Like, I help people more than I help myself. And love makes me happy 100%. I think that's why.
And I'm trying to figure this out. Di, you say you're an emotional person, very emotional person. How can you help somebody when you're so emotional? That means you're going to be way more emotional than the person you're trying to help. And you're going to be operating, moving out off strictly just off emotion. How are you a help to anybody? You're more of a hindrance. Whoever the person you helping, they're going to have to help you. Stop from getting overly emotional, crying, breaking down. What are we doing? Somebody got to be the one. And I'm just saying, Jesus Christ. Let's keep going, man.
My community and working on my community is very important to me because I want to bring love back. I tend to see people dealing with each other without love nowadays, and I feel like that's why things are the way it is. It's like a lot of the older generation, they really big on discipline because I have to work with a lot of older people, and it's like they just big on discipline, not realizing that a lot of kids, and I'm not just saying kids, but younger people, even dealing with the kids in grade school, hearing these kids talk, they don't feel love, and then hearing my generation talk, we don't feel love. We got older Black women trying to lead us, and then it's like we don't feel loved by them. Sometimes we feel judged, so those are the things that make me happy. And I noticed that men know this stuff that make me happy too. Like, I didn't think like material things mattered to me that much. But then, like, when I used to be in an argument with my ex-boyfriend, like one time he bought me a PlayStation 5. And I'm like, oh, I like this.
See, my buddies come through today. She says, Miss Travel One, she said, Mrs. Hink at Hink in the Basement. Greetings, Mr. and Mrs. Hink. The key word scrolling on that stream is focus. The ladies are expressing, Hink. Come on now. Travel One, you keep watching, man. We definitely gonna have a conversation about what they talking about. Right on? Right on.
But I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like it more than his changed behavior. I ended up like trying to break it because I'm like, nah, I'd rather have changed behavior. But sometimes like buying me things make me feel good, so that makes me happy. And looking pretty makes me real happy. Like when I look good, I feel like I could deal with anything. Like I got some, like you could come with bullshit, and I'm like, I don't got time for that. Like I look too good right now. You know what I'm saying?
You seen that video on IG that said you weren't saying this, you just needed your hair done.
Yeah.
When I tell you it'll change your mood, baby,
hey, Doug,
like,
Nothing wrong with it.
I didn't realize it though until I actually did it. And I'm like, damn, we as women really care about it. I did it with my daughter.
We care about it. It's important.
My daughter care about it, even at that age. It's like it's just something instilled in us to care about our appearance.
Doug, are you aware of the love languages?
Yes.
Okay.
My love language is being understood. Let me be emotional. I'm not going to be disrespectful. I just want to be understood.
It sounds like from what you just said that is receiving gifts, though.
No, I didn't say that. I said because I told you, once he didn't give me the change behavior that came with the gift, I'm like, F this gift. I would rather change behavior. I want to help you become better. But no, it just things that make you happy. I got a necklace, like, this cute. I like this. This adds to the look. You know what I'm saying? Like being pretty.
Ow. That could still be one of them, though.
Yeah.
It's a hierarchy of your love languages. So,
all right. So
I didn't have nothing to do with it.
All right, I got a quick question to Ty. I'm gonna bring it back.
He said, "Let me be emotional." Shout out to Carl Thomas. God damn, that's a love language.
Being understood, yes, because I'm different, and I've accepted that. I'm not trying to be anybody version of right. I'm trying to be myself, and then allow that man to say, "Okay, I love that about you." So that's what it is.
All right, so I
look here. Before I go any further, guys, I have to acknowledge one of my biggest haters. He comes through and drops a $10 super chat. Big and 11. Shout out to him. And thank you for your service, my brother. You have to. You chose to. And I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. He says, what up, Hank? and I'm happy. Dad's always trying to help somebody else, but don't have the mental. God, he said, don't have the mental fortitude to help the person in the mirror. Failure is comfortable for some people. Jesus Christ, say it ain't so. Unfortunately, Big Ann 11, right? I have to question that. She said, what died what Di said is not love language. I don't know what that is. It's a headache. Guess what it is? Jesus Christ. Let's keep going, man. Lord help her. Try one. You're going to try to defend this crap too. That's the problem. You are part of the problem, ma'am.
Got a quick question. There was something, and I'm gonna ask something that you had mentioned earlier. So you said that young people should jump from job to job to find happiness.
That's not what I said. I said that the difference, when I was going off of piggybacking off of what Allie was saying, I said our parents would stick with one job for 20, 30, 40 years, and we learned from them, and they would most likely be miserable, that we would never do that. So we, as millennials, tend to jump around until we find something that we feel fulfills us instead of just sticking with one job. I never said that you should jump around from job to job.
Okay.
No, ma'am, you are not innocent in this one. You said, it says, focus on your career. Be independent. Don't rush. That was the conversation. And the reason why that was a topic, because of the video we showed, was talking about a young lady, was talking about how her parents would push that issue and how that hindsight 2020 ended up being a bad situation. So now she's out here living that life. No husband, no kids, nothing. She's not fulfilled. But it's because she's looking for a family. And most of the youth has been spent on, well, doing other things besides probably what's most important. But let's try one. I'm not going to put all the blame on you. I'm going to blame your mama. If she told you that, that's her fault. I'm going to blame your daddy. If he told you that, that's his fault. Let's keep going. I'm just messing with you. Everyone. Don't blow a gasket now while flying over. Don't do that. Hopefully you hit a like button while you at it. Hopefully so. If you didn't, shame on you, Travel One. What are you waiting on? And for everybody else who didn't hit the like button, shame on you. Let's keep going. Take the time to hit that like button for you, brother.
Find your happiness, but that's what we as millennials do, because as generations continue, we continuously change based off of the perception that we receive from the generation before us and where we feel that they messed up. So you work yourself to death. I'm not going to do that with a company that doesn't appreciate me. So I will leave.
I think that promotes instability, though.
It doesn't. I think it promotes mental health awareness, clarity, and understanding your value as a person, because let's be honest, just like that lady at that.
So when she when Ty pushed back on Via, she's thinking it from a female's point of view. And Via's thinking from a male point of view. Neither one of them is wrong, right? Because they're thinking from their own point of view. But if I'm talking to other young men, there's no way I would be pushing that on them. I probably wouldn't push it on my daughter as well, but your daughter can kind of get away with that. Because hopefully they have a husband's out there making sure they good, taking care of things like he needs to be taken care of. You understand what I'm saying? So hopefully that's the case. But just in case it's not, that's something I wouldn't be pushing. I ain't gonna say I totally disagree with it because, women are very emotional creatures and they are very sensitive, and any little thing could just throw off all their balance. I'm just saying, let's keep going. Oh, what did Travel One say? What did Travel One came through and said, ladies, from the time they are girls, do play dress up, and Di was talking about how the feminine do like to feel pretty. It's a charm of being a female. Yep. Right on. Let's keep going. I'm glad Travel One was able to get that off her chest.
I think I can't remember where she worked, who died at her desk, and nobody knew that she was dead for, I think, what, a few hours or a few days or something. Like, she was there for
It was like 5 days.
Yeah, like 5 days. Nobody knew that she was dead.
4 days.
4 days. Nobody knew she was dead in that building, sitting at her desk. You hold no real value to a company other than what you can bring them. So if that company,
guys, let me pause this for a minute. I need to do a cheap plug. Guys, I don't know if y'all like. Let me go on the big screen. You don't need to put this on screen. You need to see the big screen. You need to see my full face. Gotta hear what I got to say. I'm a fan of the mahogany teak wood incense, the candle. God damn. Ooh, glad I didn't break it. Drop my shit. Look at this. I love this scent. I love it. I'm about to light one up in here in a second, but I love it. The mahogany teak wood incense. I love it. I swear by it. I got about 4 of them on reserve right now. 4 of them. I love them. They smell good. But with that being said, Bath and Body Works in December, the 1st of December, I think it is. They're having a sale on them 3-wick candles, $9.99. You better make your way in there and get you some. And fellas, I definitely recommend the mahogany teak wood. Man, this is good, man. It's good. It's got a good, strong smell. It doesn't smell fruity or perfumey. It's got a good, strong smell, man. I love it. And it'll light up your room. You get a lot of uses out of this. Got a lot of light ups on these. I forget how many you get. Let me see if I can see it on the bottom. Blind. I'm getting old. I can't hardly see shit no more. I can't see it. I don't even see. But you can get a lot of use out of this, and I love it. So, come the 1st of December, your boy going to Bath and Body Works to get some candles. Another thing I also want to do while I got you here, and for you guys on the replay, hopefully y'all take notes. The Angel Tree event is coming up again. I'm definitely going to do like I did last time. I'm going to encourage every content creator to go and pull a child from Angel Tree. Now, I'm not saying I do 2 a year. I usually do 2. I usually do the same ages, 10 and 8, because that was it's funny. That was the year me and my brother first received any Angel Tree things from Angel Tree, right? When we was kids. Those was our ages, 10 and 8, because my parents got divorced when I was 10. And that was the first year Christmas where my dad wasn't in the house. But, that was a year we also got stuff from Angel Tree. The age that I was and my brother was, we got stuff from Angel Tree. So that's why I get those 2 ages, 10 and 8. But I usually pull those because I know and appreciate the little things. And I'm able to bless another child. And so that's what I do. I do it every year. My wife got to participate. Well, she wasn't my wife at the time. She was my fiance at the time. But she got to participate with me in that event. And sometimes when you go to these stores, I think I end up going to Burlington Coat Factory and got most of the stuff. Went to, I think another store, got the toys. But when I did do it, I let them know what I was doing. And they gave me a discount. They gave me a discount. I think they knocked extra 15% off. And usually Burlington's, they pretty low price. You know what I'm saying? They pretty low on their prices. But they gave me additional 15% off. Only thing I had to do was ask them out, talk to a manager. She gave me additional 15% off. I told her what it was, angel tree. Showed it, you know, the card. Now it's through the Salvation Army, guys. I don't know if y'all have usually every major city has a Salvation Army. They usually have the angel trees at your local grocery stores or your malls. I definitely encourage anybody who can afford to and who has the opportunity and the means to do it. It's a great thing to do. It's a way for you to give back. You know what I'm saying? Share and bless your community. Give back to your community and give back to some kids that are less fortunate who really need that blessing. So I definitely challenge you guys to do that if you can. If you're on a replay, definitely make sure you look into that. Just like last year, I'm gonna record it and share it with you guys so y'all can see the experience that my wife and I partakes in. I don't know. Now, a couple years ago, my son went with me. Last year, he couldn't go with me due to his basketball schedule. I'm gonna have to kind of look at it, see what the schedule is, and if he could go with me, I'm gonna take it with me so they can experience not only my son, but my wife's daughter, bonus child. She can take her with me so she can experience that, right? She can experience that, see what giving back is. Because I believe you should allow your kids to experience that because that lets them know how blessed and a privilege and lucky they are. So allow your kids to experience little things like that. So with that being said, let's keep it going. What did Travel say? What'd she say? Mrs. Hinks told you about that candle, right, Hink? Hell no, she didn't tell me about no goddamn candle. Not these candles. She went with me because she likes the body spray. She likes that vanilla or this, I think it's a strawberry flavored body spray and lotion and all that good stuff. I do get the Bath and Body Works. I got one plugged in. I don't feel like them little air fresheners. Those are pretty nice too. That's why she laughed, because she knows she didn't. I turned on to it. Strawberry pound cake. Man, that's crazy as hell. That's the flavor. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I don't know if it's that. It wasn't, you know. I don't know. Go to hell, Big Ant 11. He said, too much information, Hank. Too much information. It's never too much, brother. Never too much. Channel 1 said, Bath and Body Works works forever. They do last a long time. I'll give them credit for that, man. They last a long time. I love them. Like I said, I got like 4 candles in there left. You know, I got 4 candles. I'm still going to go buy 2 more. That's what I do. I get down to like a certain amount, then I got to re-up like I do my water. So I buy a case of water from Sam's. You usually get down to like 1 or 2 cases. Then I go re-up. I'll go buy 6 more. So I usually keep 5 at the house, and I give my son a case, and, you know, so he can take it to school with him. That's what I do. Yeah, now see, Big Ant 11, now this, you might be right. Too much info. You nibble the strawberries off my neck, Hink. She doing too much. Let's get back to the video, man. She being extra. We ain't got time for that. We ain't got time for that. Let's go.
You know, time off, great benefits, great pay, fulfilling work, whatever that is for you, then you have every right to move around. And I'm not saying just continuously jump from here to there and don't have a plan. No, stay at that job, apply for other jobs on Indeed, go ahead and interview, get the job, and quit and move on.
I think that really promotes instability. That promotes.
No,
I disagree.
How?
Depending on the age you're doing it at, I think so.
When you're young, why? How does that
I think when you're young, you want that experience.
Especially when you're young.
I disagree because I agree with Ty. I've been in HR for 13 years, right? I'm in leadership.
Yeah, ladies. When you get
No,
and my man get a full call out though, ladies, when you get a full call out.
Somebody on Christmas, somebody died. I posted they
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, man? Can you hear me? Can he finish getting a full thought? Now we try to be respectful to you ladies and allow you ladies to get your full thought outs, and he get his full thought out.
Sorry.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's all for now.
Thank you, brother. Hey, you're a solid man for that.
Right on.
All right, but yeah.
Shout out to the short king.
He was for you and was shady, all in the same thing. That's why.
Y'all see Ty trying to start shit. She ain't shit for that. She ain't shit for that. So for those who don't know, me and Viz had a little joke about the short kings and so Viz, I think he said it's 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", or something like that. I'm 6'3", and we was talking about how if somebody was at the same status on everything, but my height is different, he would have to acquiesce to me, I guess, because I'm taller and the women gonna see me before they see him. You know what I'm saying? Because they be more attractive to the height of the man compared to somebody who may be shorter. But you know, some ladies like the short kings. So that's where that joke came from. But you know, that's it. Let's keep going.
Hey, but yeah, no, I definitely understand what you guys are saying, but I feel like with this generation and what it is that we're seeing that they're doing, especially with the generation to come, the Gen Z or whatever, I think that that's a terrible message to be given them, because nobody is going to be consistent and stick with one thing. It's constantly jumping to one thing to another. I'm pretty sure that if they do that with their jobs, they're probably going to do that in relationships. So I think that that's a very poor message to tell the next generation to do. The other part of it as well, most people, all they are workers. I feel like we've convinced people that everyone should be entrepreneurs, but everyone is not an entrepreneur. That's not built for everyone. Everyone is not a servant. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to be a servant. And a lot of people are jumping into that because they hear people say, "Oh, be your own boss" and all this other shit, and they go and fuck up, you know what I'm saying, the whatever industry that it is that they're in. So I think that that's kind of a dangerous message to be giving people in a general sense.
I think if you're in the same career field and you're bouncing around, I think it's okay. But I think if you're bouncing around in different career paths or trying different careers, that can be a little unstable. But I think if you don't move around, you're limiting yourself too. Mm-hmm. So in this day and age, maybe 20 years ago, staying at the same job was cool, right, but it's a different day now. So
why not just grow in that company?
Because you don't. That's not what's working for that person. So people have to do what works for them.
Well, I'm saying,
I think that's where the discrepancy is.
Why work a job that you don't like? That doesn't make sense.
That's
people do it every single day, though. People do it every single day because they're trying to.
You don't like it until you
right. You have to start it first, and then you may realize that it doesn't work for you. So then you quit or decide to get a different job and you try something else out. I feel like it's better for you to do that when you are younger, rather than doing that when you're older. because then you'll get to a place and you'll understand what your actual skills are, what you're good at, what's actually your passion. Everybody doesn't automatically know that. And like you stated, everybody is not meant to be an entrepreneur, and that's not even what I was saying or going with it. I'm talking about just in regular jobs in corporate America, blue collar positions. You have to figure out what's going to work for you and what's going to fulfill you the most in order to even stay at a job for years and years and years. If not, it'll be draining you of your life and you will die way before your time.
So I don't necessarily disagree with the sentiment. That I think if people are doing wonder, and I am agree. Like
26, 20. If you don't necessarily know what he wanted a man, you're like I see a lot of
actually love the work. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that you produce. Like you.
I have a question for the men.
Let me say, nothing against Lou. I just want to get to a certain point in this video before I have to get it go. And one of the points is, oh, God, oh, Di ain't gonna never let us down, is she? She always got some off the wall crazy stuff to say. But yeah, what she's about to say and share, man. Y'all pray for that sister, boy. She's trying her best, right? She's trying her best. She's out here working hard, doing what she can, trying to make her way. Y'all pray for the sister. God, Lord help her.
I see a lot of guys that's like 26, 27, 28 going through what Biz was just talking about, because I could see why it would be bad. I feel like when you're young, yes, get that experience. But when you get older, right, say like now you're 28, 29, 30, you still ain't figured out what you like. You know what I'm saying? You still ain't figured out what you want to do. You're going from job to job. For the men, do you think it's important if a man says, okay, I want to take care of this woman, I want to settle down, I'm ready for a family, if he don't necessarily know what he want to do, should he just do whatever comes until he, like, how would they go about it?
What age are we talking about?
Like 30s, like after that young age, like once you pass 20s and you didn't work and you work, but you still ain't found nothing.
We're talking about a man who's 30 years old or older.
Like in their 30s, mid-30s, probably.
Mid 30s. Okay. If you're a man,
a lot of men in my generation dealing with this. That's why I'm answering.
Yeah, I know, man, and it freaking pains me to hear that sometimes, because unfortunately, those are the stragglers that we sometimes talk about that I've forgotten. But like, if you're a man who's 30 and plus, understanding the market in the landscape of today's economy, you need to really, really focus. Like, you wasted your youth, right? Partying, killing, whatever the case may be, right? And unfortunately, a lot of us do that. A lot of people, a lot of men have done that. They wasted years, as opposed to lock in, focus, do what you got to do.
Travel One again comes through with some crazy nonsense. Let's read it. Changing jobs is nothing new. Climbing the ladder includes change to obtain more money, skills, obviously. Be wise about it. Black women do this well because Black women have had to. The key is being smart with your, I guess, money period or cash period. Shout out to Travel One for the message. I don't agree, but shout out to her.
You'll get those years back, I promise you. And unfortunately, they're playing a bit of catch up. You know, their credit might not be where it needs to be. They're probably
they
not
focused on happy right now.
They can't focus on happy. You can't focus on happy.
That makes sense, though. It makes sense if you want to provide.
You can't. Yeah, if you want to provide, you can't focus on happy, because that's a level of responsibility that you have to take on your shoulder that you haven't even prepared yourself, because unfortunately you don't have a track record, a consistent track record of winning. You know what I'm saying? And I would hope that a woman in that position who is dating that man is asking him, what have you been doing you know what I'm saying, since you've gotten out of high school? Where have you been focused? Were you in the service? Did you start a business? Did you go to college? What are the things that you're passionate about? What are you focused on? What's the aim? What's the direction of your life? People talk about programs, but they don't even have the basic fundamentals to even start, you know? And starting a family, even taking care of a family. I wouldn't even go that far, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you're in that situation. I think find someone who you're well aligned with values, and then also have similar lifestyles, but fully taking care of a woman in that position where you haven't figured out yourself yet, it's a no-go. There's a reason why when you're on the airplane, they tell you to put on your mask first before you help somebody else. You need to help yourself first before you ever take somebody off the market in that capacity. So, yeah.
Trump won't come back again with some nonsense. She said, yes, timing and managing your money well is everything. You are everything, and everything is. Shout out to Travel One. Let's keep going. So let me say this. I've been hearing a lot of what y'all saying, and it sounds crazy. So y'all ladies talking about y'all want equality. Y'all don't want that equality. Because all this shit y'all was just talking about and preaching, as a man, you couldn't do that bullshit. Y'all couldn't be focused on your word and independent and don't rush. Nah, what else may be happening as a man? Y'all can get away with that because y'all are ladies. Y'all are women. Y'all can get away with that. Worry about focus on your career and all that, and do all that. Go from one job to the next, because I'm not having fun. I'm not feeling fulfilled. I don't like it. Today's a bad day. So it's job. As a woman, y'all can do that. But if you was a hard ankle, that shit wouldn't fly. So the men you talk about dying, those are loser dudes. Those are type of dudes that Ty's talk about. Allow them to do what they want to do, make decisions. No, Ty, you should push your children in the direction that you need them to go. They should. That's the problem with our youth now. They have too many options. And when you get all these options, they can't make a decision. They can't stand on shit. So now they got the option over here, option over there, option over there, option over. They had job here, job. There's no stability. Just like Bill says, they don't know what stability is anymore. And look, shout out to Harrison Buck. If y'all don't know who Harrison Buck is, this man talked about his wife at a graduation, and they gave him hell about that shit. He said the greatest thing is being a mother, being a homemaker. It's the greatest job ever. Not a woman out here trying to be a CEO, not a woman out here trying to be a boss bitch, but a mother, a wife, a caretaker. The greatest job any woman can ever do. But a lot of ladies, they not looking past that. Why? Because y'all so independent to the point y'all don't even want a man. Y'all don't even need a man. What's a man? What do we need him for? We got AI, we got robots, and we got roses. We don't need y'all. We get what we need from that. Bullshit. As soon as y'all out here trying to job up, y'all need somebody to take care of your ass while y'all between jobs. Y'all need somebody to help you out when y'all trying to practice interview, because it sounds like y'all don't ask questions during the interview. It sounds like y'all don't do no type of investigation. Why are you going in a job and all of a sudden you got to go there just to find out what your benefits are? No, that should have been during the interview process. Say, what's the benefits? What's the benefits package? What's the pay package? You know, what's all of these things? Are y'all finding out before you go on the job? You can also find out what type of job is it. If you have any friends that work at this job, that's how you got referred to the job. I mean, what are we doing here? Y'all just going there blind? No, but as women, y'all can do that. Brittany, I know you want to speak on when I speak, and I please get the same courtesy as I gave you ladies.
I don't understand how we got there. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, just sit back and listen. You'll learn. Brittany, sit back and listen, and you will learn. Sit back and listen, and you will learn.
Let's bring it back.
One of the main topic is about equality. Y'all were talking about equality, right? But y'all don't. That's not what y'all really want. Y'all want to be paid as much as us, make as much as us, treated as much as us, seen as much as us. But then you got to get them expectations. And that you don't want. Like it says, you want the benefits. But you don't want the heartaches and the issues you have to deal with in order to get that same benefit. No, you don't want that. You don't want that smoke. So stay in an easy lane where it's soft and supple, you're well taken care of just because you're a female. So when you go on maternity leave, you get them benefits. See, as men, we don't get them. Not every career or every job has maternal leave for the men. It's not federal mandated for us, but it is for you guys. We don't get off. We got to keep on clocking in for Mr. Charlie. And guess what? Mr. Charlie gonna make sure we at work. I might give you a couple of days off to go be with your wife, but you better bring your black ass back here and work and get on this assembly line or get in that office or get to doing whatever you got to do. You don't want them issues, man. You don't want that. You like the cush life.
I don't.
Enjoy
So
the
you
cush life.
rather have the baby? Who would?
Go ahead, Brittany. Y'all want to talk? Go ahead. Y'all ain't gonna let me land. That's cool. Go ahead.
Are you done, Hank?
No, I ain't got no choice but to be done with y'all. Go ahead, ladies.
Let him finish.
Please let him
Tell me.
finish.
They don't want me to finish. But that's cool. I understand.
Let me
It's what we call double standards. I accept double standards. Now, y'all ladies can't accept the double standards. I can accept that. Go
But
ahead,
now,
ladies.
in that particular scenario that you just presented about paternity leave, you as a woman, you just gave birth to another human being. So you can't expect to have the
My man J Dub said it's double standards for us as males, as men, to be to be up and bounce from job to job, a career to career, like that. Not really a good look at all. Thanks, J Dub. They don't understand that. Travel One comes through with some more craziness, but I appreciate her because she's a participant. Shout out to Travel One. She said, "Hank, the ladies are laughing because black women have worked for generations and have landed many jobs on all levels. Shout out to you ladies for moving from job to job. Just because I don't like it or I don't feel like going in." I know that's right. Let's keep going. Let's hear the ladies and let's hear what they got to say.
the same rights that a woman would have. Although a lot of corporations have moved to extending that to men as well, you can't, it's like comparing apples to oranges. You know what I mean? Women still have to damn near wear diapers after they give birth to a child. Like, we're bleeding. All sorts of things are happening with our body. Our body needs time to recover. I'm sorry, with all due respect, what are you recovering from when a woman gives birth?
I mean, but Brittany, that's the point with the equality part. That's the whole point of it.
I just want to point out that I'm fair.
They'll talk themselves into a goddamn phone.
At the same time, even after you give birth and care for a whole human being that you just brought into this world, you still have bills to pay too, and you still have to get back to it as well. So, like, what are you saying? Like, I don't understand what the point is.
That's what I'm saying. You got a whole husband that's right there to offset while you take it time. Or you talk about being a baby mama. Okay, well, I ain't with that shit. Go ahead. I ain't talking about being a baby mama. I'm talking about being a wife.
Reel it back on in. I was married for 12 years, in a relationship for 14 years, and I made the choice to exit that situation.
Guys, I think Brittany's just like fighting me. I think I figured it out. I think Brittany enjoys just fighting me and everything I got to say. This ain't the first show that she had something to say or go against me on something. I think she enjoys fighting me. She enjoys where she's ready to go from the shoulders on a regular basis with ink. I don't know why. Is it something I said? Did I piss her off? I'm gonna have to ask her one time. I'm saying, Brittany, man, what did I do to you? Did I hurt your feelings? Do I remind you of an ex-boyfriend? Or do I remind you of your ex-husband? And now you're trying to take your frustration out on me. What is it? I'm gonna have to ask that question. I need to know. I need to know. Is it something I said? Did I hurt her? I must have really hurt her feelings one day. Because what she loves to fight me every time she get an opportunity. But it's cool. I just find it amusing. Trouble one again. Comes with more nonsense. And here we go. What did she say? Maturity levels is justified. A father can use paternity leave as well. Birthing babies is no joke, especially for Black women. Maternity leave. Chaotic, competitive. God. Let's keep going, man. This is crazy.
I was never made a
man, I'm talking about the example I'm talking.
And I have great partnership and support by my ex-husband. So I am not a statistic, and that is very condescending. And that goes back to the rhetoric that we talked about earlier about how men feel about Black women. But I'm gonna leave that right there because this is not what the topic is right now. But we're gonna leave that right there. You just proved my point that I was trying to make earlier.
Well, no, Brittany, he was going off of the example that you brought up. So you said that you have to get back to paying, well, you have to still pay the bills. So all he said was acknowledge, well, that's what you have a husband for. So in that scenario that you mentioned, we're assuming that we're talking about that you're in a committed relationship with a man that's there to help aid and assist in paying those bills.
But hopefully when you have a child, yes, hopefully. I mean, I'm not glorifying getting out there having children without a partner in the home, because yes, you're gonna need that support. Right. But I get that part.
Well, yeah, we're just going off that example.
Quality rabbit hole that we're going there.
Well, let's talk about that.
If you understood it, you wouldn't have took it left the way you did. Talking about, I'm not a statistic. Nobody's saying you was, man. I'm just using that as an example.
You took it there talking about that.
To play devil's advocate in today's society, you need two people working in the household to actually be able to maintain all of the bills and to live a comfortable life. So even with that argument, yes, you may have that husband, but maybe your husband's job and his income cannot sustain your household. Maybe you are the breadwinner. Maybe you make more than your husband makes. That doesn't make him less of a man or less of a hard worker, but we cannot live just off of your income. So even though you have a husband in the household, the woman still has to get back to it. I also want to point out that I specifically said that when it comes to the conversation about equality in pay, the reason why men get paid more is because they work more. We have way more time when we're actually off because we have children, because we decide to step away from families. I literally stated that. I never said that I feel that we should be equal across the board. It's impossible to do so because we are the ones that give birth to children. And when we do that, we usually want to spend our time with our kids. We usually have to pick between giving our energy to our career or giving our energy to our children. I just wanted to throw that out there because you came with the hostility on the equality thing, and all the women did not have that sentiment.
Yeah, I said you got to choose.
So I wanna add a different perspective, or maybe perhaps I want to interject a cultural perspective. You know, I understand that, you know, when a couple gets
I'm
together,
trying to get to the point where I explain myself in the situation, because they make it sound like
a child into this world. Obviously, there's, you know, a lot of
let's go. Let me get to it.
Your first child, United States of America, pick up from family, you know, let's get those regs.
Okay, we need to plan properly. If she's Black community,
that they have the kind of support that they need while they're going through that time period. Yeah.
Well, unfortunately,
one of the issues that we have in our Black community is that we don't plan properly. That's one of our issues. So you now, Ty, you sit there and say, well, what if she's the breadwinner? Okay, we need to plan properly. If she's the breadwinner, then maybe it's not our time to have a kid right now. Maybe I need to get some more training, more certification, so I can either get a better job, or maybe I need to go out there and get a part-time job to offset any monies that's going to be short because the wife, who is the breadwinner, is working. Maybe we need to do that. Unfortunately, our community, we don't plan for the kids. We just have them oops babies. That's how we like to roll. Oh, we're having a baby. Oops. It wasn't planned. It wasn't budget. We understand. I don't know how long it's going to take. How many more mistakes, bumps you got to take. Kids are expensive. It's not cheap to have kids. It's a very expensive investment that you're making when you have kids. Yet we still go out here and have all these goddamn babies and don't plan for none of them. We just work on the fly. Is that what we're pushing? Is that what we promote now? That's exactly what y'all doing when y'all saying what doesn't. Well, she's a breadwinner, so she can't afford to get up. Bullshit. Make arrangements, make adjustments, do what you have to do.
Well, I wanted to address what Lewis just said about having those conversations. Where's the grandmother, the mother, etc.
Let me say this. I don't believe in making excuses, man. I hate when somebody comes to me with excuses. I never accepted that from my son or my daughter. Don't come with a bunch of excuses. I need solutions, reasons on why or what we can do to get this thing figured out. Why ain't we this done? Why ain't this done? Why ain't that done? Okay, cool. What are we going to do to make it happen? I heard your reasons. Why is not? I heard it. Sound like an excuse to me. I heard it. I'm not going to keep accepting it. Because as men, we can't come up with excuses. I can't go to my boss and say, man, I'm late every day for this reason. No. You need to be on time or else be unemployed. I can't sit there and go to my the person I have the bank that I have a home loan to. Yeah, I'm late every time because this and this and this. I can't do that. I can't keep doing that. You know what they're gonna do? Foreclose on my house. If I'm paying rent, I can't keep saying my tenants can't keep saying, man, I ain't bullshit. You better figure out why I ain't got my money no later than the 5th as you get the hell out. One of the two got to happen. You can't keep making excuses on why you can't make your rent. I'll make your house payment. I'll make it to work on time. I'll do this or do that. Or if you got a quota you got to meet, can't keep making excuses. I don't believe in that shit. I don't accept that shit. I don't accept it from my wife. I wouldn't accept it from my kids. I don't like it. So if you're dealing with me, come on over, say that bullshit. I'm going to call you on it. So I ain't with that. So if I hear about an excuse, yeah, I ain't trying to hear that. Save that shit for some weak person who accepts that bullshit. I don't accept that shit. Save it somebody who believes that you blowing the smoke up their ass. I'm pissing down a bed trying to tell me it's raining. Bullshit. I don't accept that. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not going to tolerate it. We got to come up with solutions on why this ain't working the way it should be working. Why this ain't paid. Why this ain't done. Let's move on. Let's come up with solutions and let's get it together. Instead of using that energy, time, and coming up with excuses on why I can't do it. My dog ate my homework. Get rid of that goddamn dog then. Come on, man. Come on, man. We can't be doing this shit. Not as men.
I mean, that's not everybody's reality. Everybody doesn't have a mother or a grandmother or auntie to support them. So when you decide to have that child is yours to raise. So that's just, I mean, we can't give everybody the same formula.
I understand that, and unfortunately, I can't cover everybody in every different socioeconomic or life situation. But one thing that I always kind of lean on and talk about is family, community, and building a tribe of people. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't have a grandmother or your mother there in your life, you garner the ability to build the tribe of women, to be in concert with women, you know what I'm saying? And in community with women where you can have that. You might have that midwife that can help you in that time. Like I'm trying to come up with a bunch of different solutions and different avenues and different vehicles without coming up with excuses. Because one thing about me, I hate fucking excuses. I come up with solutions every single day. And sort of, I find that at times we are culturally bounded by some anvil, imaginary anvil that keeps sinking us to the bottom of the abyss. And I hate that. And I'm trying to, for us to think outside our norm and break the cultural mindset that.
You keep freezing, please.
Well, to bounce off that, I think the core of what you're frustrated at is the death of multi-generational homes in America. And that has leached off of the majority in this country. Me personally, like, I'm not going to send my mom to a nursing home. Well, hell no. No, there's nothing wrong with having multi-generational households for the exact purpose that you just said. So I think that's where the bigger frustration comes into, is it's okay to have it happen. I don't know why we've gotten to this point where it's got to be like that, because then it would solve the issues if someone's income is worse than the other. Like, you know, yeah.
I agree. I feel like it should be like that. I think the frustration comes from, I think Black families know that we need to be like that. They talk about that. Why do you kick your kids out instantly at 18? And some people do it at 16. You know what I'm saying? It happened to my brother at 14. You know what I'm saying? So imagine when you older and you're having a kid, they already, most of them is expecting you to take care of yourself at 14 to 18 already. So, and what's crazy is it did used to be a community thing. When you go back in the day, I know as far as me and in my age on my block, they could whoop me. The next door neighbor could whoop me. If my mama and them had to work, or if my dad had to work, it was a community thing. And I do feel like that's the reason why we don't have a lot of marriages and love and empathy in our community anymore. Because it got to the point where you better not say nothing to my kid. You better not, you better not look at her. I'll be darned if you tell her what to do what's right. She don't listen to me. So it does get frustrating, because it's like you want to make that a solution, but you can't make other people help you. You can't make other people help you. You can't make them love you. You can go out and look for the support, like you said, but then again, you're taking away time from making money and doing what you have to do for the kids. And it's just, it's a frustrating topic.
That goes back to what y'all were talking about earlier, though. When
I see it both ways, because when I got pregnant, my mom like moved in with me, like when my babies were born. So like down south, it's to me, it's a little bit different. Like I still own my home in Texas. My mom lives in my home. You know, I wasn't gonna like it's in the family. My mom has a home. It's the homestead. My son is 19 and he literally told my mama, like, I don't have to go anywhere. This is my mom's house. He's like kicking his feet up. But I always feel like as long as I have a house, my kids do too, and my family do too. And it does take a village. And I think that we have gotten away from that as a community. I've heard someone say, well, I had a friend that was like, well, he's taking care of his dad. His dad lives with him. I can't talk to him. Why not? It's a free babysitter. Like, what are we doing? You know, so I think that people look down on it for some reason, like when you're sharing your spaces or when your family's here. But I think that just me traveling and being in the military, like being overseas, they don't leave the house until they're married and have kids. Like they're not pushing their kids out the house at 18. Like they're not ready and prepared. You're setting your kids up for failure. You know, you can keep all that money in the house. All that money can stay in the family. And then you get to help each other. And it just creates, you know, a better community. We grew up where everybody went to grandma's house. Like we were all with all of our cousins. And I look at that now and I'm like, my daughter knows all her cousins, like seriously. She got home a lot. But it gets to a point where people don't even know their cousins. No, it's not my grandma's house. And that takes away from the community of our environment. And I think that that's very, 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 very important.
I agree, because I don't even want to leave the crib until I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to leave. I don't want to be out there alone feeling unsafe. And my family, we're actually looking for a big house in Atlanta until we can, branch off comfortably, but it's not a lot of people doing it, and it's kind of sad.
But that goes back to what y'all was saying earlier about judgment. Is don't worry about what other people think of you and their opinion and all this other shit. When that was the actual thing. You know what I'm saying? There was a lot of stuff that I could have done when I was younger, but I didn't do because I didn't want to embarrass my mama. I didn't want my uncle to put hands on me. You know what I'm saying? So, but now nobody gives a fuck. You just do whatever the fuck you want to. Your mama ain't gonna say nothing. Your uncle can't say nothing because your mama gonna snap on him. Miss Gentry down the street, she can't say nothing because the mama gonna cuss her out. You know what I'm saying? So
or these boys might spaz and smack her.
You know what I'm saying? There's no values and there's no respect. So y'all just talked about not caring what people say, and then we get to this. So we can't have both. We have to pick one and stick with it because both of them come at a cost. So if we're telling people that you shouldn't care about other people's opinions and it doesn't matter what they feel or say and all this other shit, then that is going to be a problem because the more generations that come after that, they're going to continue to stretch it further and further. And now we're seeing exactly what we're seeing now.
Yeah, I think it's be careful where you apply it to. Don't be careful what people, think. You always want to teach your kids to build your brand.
You have to be careful of what people think always.
That's why I was gonna say you want to build. Yeah, that's why I say it's where you place it. You always want to build your brand. You want to make sure okay, what do you want to be? What's your brand? Okay, go to build your brand. If you want to be a stripper, don't care about what these niggas gonna say because that's your brand. You want to be a doctor. You want to be a doctor. You don't want to worry about what the gangbangers say when you come home and it's time for you to, do your duty. And they talking about you in your scrubs because they think you look like a nurse. So that I think when they was talking about don't care what people think, they was somebody like in finding their career. If I don't like this, then okay, yeah, go to this. But that can
It goes back to what he said. Y'all have the luxury of doing that. That's not something that you teach young men. You know what I'm saying? Because that now is going to bite you in the ass. That's literally women now creating the very men that they complain about. So that's counterintuitive. It's counterproductive.
I have to agree with Biz because, like I said, I have a 19-year-old son, and yeah, they feel like he tells me that he's like, he was like, I can do AI in Cash College. He's like, I don't have to do that, right? But I'm in the mindset, you got to go to college, you got to graduate, you need to have a plan, you need to have, and he's just like, I don't know what your generation did, but we don't have to do any of that. And it's like, so I already know he's going to get on a job, not like it, next job, not like it. I can do that. You know what I'm saying? But I just feel like this generation is thinking something different because of the things that they hear and everything is so easily accessible. I had no idea because I had books in college. So he's like, oh, no, Mom, we can just AI.
And that's the problem. See, the thing is with college, and I agree that college is arguably it's a scam, right? We all can agree that you're a.
Let me say this. Unfortunately, the scenario that this lady's talking about, this is way too common, especially for single mothers who are trying to raise boys. You know what I'm saying? You try to give them the best they can, trying to offset maybe an absentee father. Even if the father's there, he may not be all the way in life like he should be. He's not really participating like he should be. He's not doing everything he should be doing. giving that boy some game, and you know, giving that boy some type of structure. You know, being consistent in that boy's life. He may be hit and miss. He may be seeing them, you know, maybe once, twice a month, and that's not enough. It's just unfortunate some guys have those, situations like that. They just got to maneuver around for whatever reason. Maybe it's a long distance situation. You know, he in the South, but you all the way on the West Coast, or you all the way up east. You're not in the same state, same city as your son. So now you got to maneuver around that. You know what I'm saying? The only time you can talk to your sons on the phone call, maybe FaceTime and you stream. You know, your shift, you may be working second shift. He ain't seeing you until late on the night. But, you know, you can always call him. You know, it's kind of challenging when you got those type of situations. Then you may have them for the summer. You know, some guys got those situations, man. It's not okay. It's not the ideal situation. But you got to do what you got to do. So with that being said, man, you just got to make it work the best way you know how. But whenever you got an opportunity, you got to make sure you pouring into your son, pouring into your kids, putting game on, teaching them, educating them, make sure they know what's going on, make sure they know you love them. Yeah, it's rough, but that's life sometimes. It is what it is. But with that being said, man, it's just, as me, you got to make sure you letting them know, hey, that's not how it moves. That's not how the world works. That's not how things operate. This world's vicious, especially us men of color. This world's vicious. There's not going to be no easy street. They're not going to give you anything. You got to go out there and work for it. Show you worth it. Show you can handle whatever situation comes your way. And you not only have to handle it emotionally, mentally, as well as physically. Because there's going to be some challenges. You're going to get mentally challenged. You're going to get emotionally challenged at work. You're going to get physically challenged. How do you handle the situation? How do you operate under those stressful situations? Do you blow up and crash out and do those type things? Or do you come with a cool, calm, and collected type of head? Be respectful, but still also stay firm. Those situations are coming, fellas. It's all about how do you handle it. It's all about how you deal with it. It's all about how you move. Let's get going with the video. We got to get ready to wrap it up because we got to get ready to go over to the new this Wednesdays. Here we are. Here's the thumbnail. Women feeling unsafe. That's the new one for this Wednesday. We're going to check it out. But hey, before I get going back to the video, let me make sure I do what I need to do. And what I need to do is talk about my Funko Pop and my album of the week. And here we go. Shout out to Sir Mix-a-Lot. Swass is the album of the week. One of the famous songs is that you heard. Posse on Broadway. Funko Pop of the week is Sir Mix-a-Lot. Shout out to that. I want to make sure y'all see that because I've been slipping and tripping here lately. I ain't been really displaying it like I should. I'm playing the video at least like I should. But with that being said, make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel so y'all can get any updates that I put out there, whether it's shows, video clips, or shorts. Or definitely make sure you join the membership. If you ain't had the opportunity to do that, make sure you do that for your boy. All right, I appreciate that. J-Dub said, my posse's on, bro. Yes, that's a classic, baby. That's a classic. With that being said, let's keep going with the video.
Essentially going there for the experience. But what it is that they're teaching you as well is structure. is discipline. These are the most important and vital things that you have to have in life, especially as a man. So if you remove that, then that is now causing and creating anarchy. That is causing chaos. That is now the author of confusion, in which is the opposite of good and God. So if we take all of that away and we remove all of that, we now have these unstable homes. We now have single moms. We now have young fathers, dads, men that's not taking care of their children, and it's just complete chaos.
Yeah,
So
I noticed.
I think
I'm sorry.
I was going to say this. You know, I understand what your son's mindset is like, but you know, I must say what me and Shane always used to say. You know, hard times create strong men create good times create weak men create hard times. And you can see today that we have a lot of weak men today creating hard times for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? That not only at the upper level, but also at the community level, at the relationship, families, etc. And unfortunately, I'm just gonna be very blunt. A lot of young people need to go through the ringer. They need mud. They need to have mud on their boots. They need to know what it is to go through some pain. They need to know what it is to suffer. They need to know what it is to go through something. You know, like this pushy, because because what happens is when you don't treat them like that and everything's so soft, this soft life type of stuff, what are you gonna do once you get a little bit older and you get hit with some real shit? You're not prepared. You've never been prepared for that. Now you're here and now you can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? So how does that prepare you? Even at the work or corporate level, right? You gotta go through that. Like,
because you work so hard for your kids. I think that's what our generation did. We're like, we're gonna give them. They're not gonna have to do it. I'm gonna do it everything.
We're gonna spoil the fuck out of them and create the exact people that we complain about and we talk about and point the finger at and say that they fucking up the community and all this other shit. That's exactly what's gonna happen.
I agree with y'all. I think when it comes down to the men and the boys,
I much into your business. When your son says these things, what does his father say when he hears this rhetoric when it comes out of his mouth?
Like, it's not your house. Like, you don't own this house. It's not your house. This is your mom's house. You gotta get out and get a job. Like, you gotta make your own way. Life don't work like that. I mean, what would any father say, right? Me like, I shouldn't have gotten in the car with him. These guys aren't my friends, because to teenagers, your friends are your life, right? I could never tell him anything about these friends, like, y'all, you know what I mean? So now he's looking at it like, well, dang, I was in the hospital, ain't nobody come visit me. You know what I mean? My mom is the only one that's showing up and showing out. And so he's starting to have an understanding, and he's starting to realize, like, dang, I'm a man, I'm 19, people ain't gonna just wait on me hand and foot. Because that was his expectation. Like, oh, everybody gonna wait on me hand and foot. And we like, boy, if you don't get up, do everything you need to do for yourself, take care of yourself. And it's been like frustrating to him, but I'm like, you have to take care of yourself. That's what I told him today. Like, nobody's doing this for you. You are a grown up. Yes, you got in a car wreck. We are very sympathetic, but you have to get up and get in.
Let me say this before I go. Guys, this is very important. And somebody put it in the somebody sent a message in a comment, or somebody said something. This is just shows the importance of fathers in the life. This situation, whether for fathers in life, that young man will have a different mindset. If he's in there on a regular basis, on a full-time basis, he's going to have a different mindset. If he's a father that is involved in the situation, he's going to have a different mindset. He's already gonna know, yeah, this ain't my house, and I'm just being blessed enough for like my mom allowed me to live here as long as I need to in order to do what I can to come up. But there's going to be eventually be a day where I'm gonna have to get my shit together and I'm gonna have to get out there and get it on my own. See, as men, we have to teach these things. And we got to allow your sons to go through some adversity, some challenges, some up and downs where they're going to have to make decisions on their own. Because guess what? Daddy one day ain't going to be here. One day daddy's going to move on in life. And to wherever I decide to go, it's not going to be up to me. It's going to be up to the Most High. Depending on how I live my life, I guess, right? But with that being said, he's got to eventually be to make these decisions on his own. Now, how's he going to deal with that? Well, it's going to all determine on what I taught my son. And hopefully whatever I taught him, he's going to instill into him, he's going to put that out in the world and carry that same mindset onto his kids. So it's going to be up to me on what I pour into him or what his mother pours into him. Right? So that's very important. And another thing, she's talking about his friends. Well, me as a parent, I have to vet his friends too. And that's what I did. I vetted my son's friend. Yeah, certain dudes you don't need to have. I know he's your teammate, but after class, after school, you don't need to hang with him. Only time you deal with him is when you dealing with him in practice and on game day. Other than that, yeah, don't be around him because he ain't about shit. You have to be involved. Again, like I said earlier in the stream, it's not about being a helicopter parent, but it's also about making sure your son or your daughter goes in the direction that you need him to go in. You encourage them, uplift them, and push them in directions you need them to go in. Kasim, I ain't seen you in a while, but man, I'm glad you're here. He says, failing to encourage your young man to be strong does them no good. And it doesn't do women any good, especially if they want to find a partner. There you are. That's a must. You got to make sure you take care of your business. Guys, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. Hopefully you did. If you ain't had the opportunity, make sure you like subscribe. Don't be a cloud watch from cloud for free. Hit that like button. Share this stream, man. If it's something that you know a person in your family or friends or loved ones that could probably benefit and use this, share this with them. I appreciate that. With that being said, I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. See you late, but never late than never. I appreciate you, brother. Make sure you hit that like button.